Okay. All right. Share screen again. Very well. All right. So, how about Ramon? Ramon, I haven't seen you much.
Yeah, I've been uh, busy doing the final tests and final evaluations. So
Yes.
I've been with a lot of work. I'm sorry for
No, no, no.
missing
This is not
classes.
careful. This is not intended as a reprimand. I'm not rebuking you. I'm
No, 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 but I really sorry because
well,
I want to learn from you.
no, we're all very busy, and it's been probably the longest and most difficult semester any of us can remember. So
Mm,
I appreciate that you're taking care of your students and doing research and things like that. But what I mentioned this for is because I was curious as to whether there may be any questions that have been building up, accumulating, questions you
mm.
may have about the conduct of this course uh, or the taking of the exams or anything about language itself.
Uh, well, I need to review that. I'm going to do that in the next 2 weeks. That we didn't have. We are not going to have a class. So maybe in January, before I take the test,
Sure.
I go back to you and review some of them. The only doubt was the one that Susana asked about the level expected of us. That you mentioned it's C1, but we can reach E2.
Well, I encourage you to, as I said, because of the way the final overall grade is computed. It's definitely to your advantage to have a C2 in there because not everyone can get C1 easily in all three of the tests. I think that
Mm,
most of you in this group probably can, maybe not the first time. So this takes me to my next point. Uh,
okay.
Ramon, would you be interested in trying the listening and reading comprehension test during this break as practice because you're allowed to take it over? I hope you're aware of
Okay.
this. You're allowed to take it over.
Uh, yes, I can do that as a practice.
Well, that's what I'm hoping that you will all do, Susana, Arturo as well. The protocol is still the same. When you get a mind to trying this thing, you just write to me. Doesn't matter. During this vacation, I will be traveling, but I will be online at
Okay.
least an hour every day. Every day I will see messages. So you just write to me, and I will send you a token for the listening and reading comprehension test. You take that token, you go to the usual page, bulats.org, tests online. Some are practice and some are for real. You go for the real test, very clearly indicated. If you get lost, I'll show you. I'll send you the actual link, in fact, with the letter. So
Okay.
I urge you to do this. Don't pass up this opportunity. Don't miss out on your chance. You can take it again. My administrators tell me firmly that you can take it again after that and maybe even a fourth time. But I don't think you'll need to. I've listened to you speak and I've seen a little bit of your writing, and I think you can probably get C1 or C2 the first or the second time at the latest.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, I've um, I've given you my pitch. I've done my pitch for that test. Let's see what we've got here. So um, we're looking at an online tutorial which these BULATS people, University of Cambridge, offer. I cannot, unfortunately, just give you the tutorial. That would be great, but I can take out some extracts, and we can have We can have workshops like this during which we can do extracts. So I'm suggesting, after examining this, that we do part of the writing tutorial. I think you've got plenty of material to prepare you for the listening, listening and reading test. Let's look at the writing tutorial, which is a bit more narrow in its focus. Okay, so I see, I've pointed out to you in the past that we've got part one and part two. Let's look at part one for a second. Part one and part two. And each of these folders contains 4 themes, like this one here. 4 themes: giving an apology, answering a complaint, placing an order, and making a reservation. Let's look at part 2. There we go. Part 2 also has, I believe, 4 themes. Right. And these 4 themes, as you see, also involve workplace English, the same kind of stuff, staff satisfaction, supplier progress, complaint letter, and dress code. I suggest that we do this one together today. You might take out pen and paper if you want to start scribbling this. Eventually, I'll send you screenshots from here. It's very tricky and painstaking to take clean screenshots that are useful at all. But today we're
Joel, I'm confused.
Yes?
I'm confused, Joel. I have a question.
Go ahead.
This screenshot that you are showing, is a practice or is it the actual exam? Is it real exam?
Well, actually, this is not the actual exam, but the same people who produced the exam have produced this tutorial. The tutorial is quite long. It's about 30 or 40 hours, I think maybe longer, and not a simple matter, nor is it totally legal, okay, for me to pirate it, take it, to sample it too generously and give you the whole thing. Unfortunately, it's not available for purchase right at this time, at least according to my information. But what we are permitted to do is to take out one part here. We're on the actual tutorial. These are not screenshots. This is the actual tutorial. And we can do one little part together. This is what I'd like to do with you today. And later, I would like to give you screenshots of this portion of the tutorial, so you can review this and think about what we've done today. It'll be like giving you, a PowerPoint presentation, so you don't have to take notes. But anyway, let's try this and see how it goes. So we're just doing this today, a complaint letter, and the complaint letter has 4 parts, and the first part is the overview. And what they encourage you to do is to analyze the requirements of the task and analyze the format and language points that are necessary, and to practice, do the actual writing. Now that's what I'd like to do with you today. So let's cut into the quick of the matter. Okay, task analysis. What is this now? Well, here you got 3 parts. And they're asking you to show that you understand the instructions of the task. So here's what happens. The task involves this. Susana, just for the sake of getting everyone broken into the language and accustomed to it, would you read this brief part that I have highlighted?
Sure. 15 employees at your company became sick after eating chicken fillets,
Yes.
which were being served in the staff cafeteria. You have been asked to write a letter to the chicken supplier.
Okay, that is more or less what we're going to do today. I don't know what kind of letter you think it will be. They say, well, it should be letter of complaint. Now, letter of complaint is not specific enough. What you want to happen, what motivates a letter of complaint, what you expect to get out of it. So here's how they want you to face the task. In your letter of complaint, they want you to mention at least three things, at least three. One is to say what happened. Two is to mention the consequences of whatever happened to yourself and to your company. And last but not least, what action you expect, in this case, from the chicken fillets supplier. And then maybe you have a fourth point. And you see, here's the exercise. They want 180 to 200 words. And they mean it. They mean really within that limit. My informants tell me, and these people who do corrections for the BULATS have flipped little inside information to me that 200 words really and truly is the limit. If you go over that, it's very bad. The consequences for your assessment are very, very poor. If you go 180 words, under 180 words, sorry, it's not quite as serious, but it's also quite serious. So that they really are serious. They mean it with respect to these limits. So let's see now. What type of text are you writing? Now? A letter of
complaint.
There you go.
Complaint.
Why are you being asked to write this letter? Why are you being asked to write this letter? Well, after lunch, in the staff, what? In the staff where?
Cafeteria.
The staff cafeteria, there you go. After lunch in the staff cafeteria, 15 people became sick because of the what?
Of the chicken fillets.
Chicken fillets.
Yeah. So really, you can see what they're doing here. They're just testing, on the one hand, your competence, let's say your skill at understanding. And on the other hand, they're testing your performance, your ability to remember accurately and to fill in the answer quickly. Now that's BULATS. That's typical, because this will be timed. In the real test, this kind of thing will be timed. So they got checked. Okay, so whom are you writing to?
The chicken supplier.
Okay. And what 3 points must be in your text? Part 1, part 2, part 3.
What happened?
What happened? And then?
Consequences.
The consequences for the company.
What happened to you? Yes. What happened to the victims? And finally?
The action you expect from the supplier.
Well, there you go. Okay, so that's pretty obvious. It does say that you might add any other point which you think is important. So the test does not totally stifle your independent thinking. But Ramon, if you were to add a fourth point, suppose you're writing 180 to 200 words, and you satisfactorily answer these 3 points. You meet these 3 requirements of the letter without any problem in, say, 155 words. Now, what are you going to do? Is there a fourth point that you might want to add?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you didn't have the space.
Okay. I'm suggesting that if you did have the space and you needed to fill that space with the fourth point, can you think of any important fourth point not mentioned?
Okay. Oh, yeah. I already got your question.
Okay.
Maybe some payment for the damages.
Okay. You might start talking about compensation.
Yes, compensation.
Okay. That's interesting. We'll come to that point on the next page of this exercise. Arturo, what would you do if you were in the same situation as the author of this letter of complaint? Suppose you came up with 150 words, and you're really proud of, you're really satisfied and even proud of the way you satisfied these 3 points. What happened? What were the consequences? And what actions do you expect? Well, what would you add to that?
I think that I have to write a letter with these three situations about the chicken that was the chicken fillet that caused the sickness of the employees, the company is going to suffer some problems with absences of the employees in some time, and also that we expect to receive something from the supplier. This is that I think that we have to write.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look at the next page of this exercise and see and see what they have to say. All right. Now, read the BULATS task and answer the questions. Okay. So this is the task, and we have read it. So let's do some more questions. This kind of question also appears. You know, the writing test is partly, of course, a comprehension test also, you know. So let's see. What is the main reason for writing this letter? Okay, check one here. Check one of these four. Ramon, what do you think?
Yeah, that is difficult because only based on the text could be the first one, but I think it's the last one to demand some type of response from the reader.
Yes, and I look at these, and I have to admit that in my innocence, it looks to me like this over here.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like this. So you have to do this, or they want you to do this in your letter of complaint, cover these 3 points. But they're asking you, what is the most basic motivation for producing this letter?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to obtain some sort of response.
Yes.
You just like to express yourself about what the contamination did to your staff? Do you want to indulge in a historical account of what happened?
No.
Like, is the purpose of this letter to rehearse the things that you're going to say in court? Okay, in court they'll ask you to describe the food poisoning outbreak. Describe it. And then at the end, they might give you the opportunity to present a victim impact report. Do you know about those?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that would be explaining the effect of the contamination on the staff. Some of them got really sick. They had to quit work. They went to the hospital, and they have maybe damage to their nervous systems from ptomaine poisoning. Well, okay. But is that the object of the letter that you're writing?
No.
Which one would you, which one, Arturo, which one do you think?
I think, as Ramon said, I think that my first choice is to complain about contaminated chicken.
All right, okay. Okay, well, that's 2 out of 3. At least, Susana, do you also agree that that's the purpose of the, is that it? Is that what the letter is? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. You do not think, none of you 3 believe that the purpose of the letter is to demand a specific response.
Me, Joel, I think that is the correct answer. I just say that if you only go, if you do a shallow analysis,
Yeah.
the first one will be the answer. But once you review the task that they are asking you,
Good.
and so you expect some response from the reader.
Perfect. Okay, well, that's very well put, Ramon. That's extremely well put. I will tick this here but we'll check the answers in a moment. The suggestions. Yeah. Obviously, this is not gospel truth necessarily, but we'll see what point of view they're expecting the test taker to adopt.
Yes.
Let's look at the second question before we check their answer. So, how will this main purpose best be achieved? The business letter. Oh, there you go. Okay, that's very, very practical. What's the best way to satisfy that end? Which of these 3? You use strong language, you express your anger, You explain the details of the situation in concise, neutral language, or you threaten the reader in a tone that is rude and intimidating. What do you think of that?
The second one.
You prefer this? Like, oh, Susana prefers this one. That seems more business-like to her somehow.
Yeah, the second one is the civil one.
The more civil, yes. Arturo, would you expect the purpose of your letter to be best served by sticking to details of the situation in concise, neutral language?
Maybe I think it's a good answer, but I think for me that this could be the first one.
It could also be the first one.
Used by strong language to express anger towards of the reader.
Okay.
This is
All
for
right.
me.
Well, let's check their answers. Okay. They insist that the purpose is to complain. Now, to me, this begs the question: why complain? Why does anybody complain? To me, it begs the question. But anyway, okay. So that's the answer that they expected.
Because the name of the task is complaint letter.
Well, yes, I know that's
No?
that's one way of guessing. That's one way of supposing or inferring what sort of answer that they wanted here. But just quickly, I don't want to make I don't want to beat a dead horse here. But I just want you to look at this. Notice that if you take each of these alternative answers in turn, you can see what's wrong with them. There's something insufficient, inappropriate with each one. Obviously, the purpose of the letter is not to describe the food poisoning outbreak. That will be one thing that needs to be there. But where is the statement of your expectations? Where is the statement of the harm that it did to you? So that's not a very complete answer. Similarly, to explain the effects of the contamination, okay, well, that can be very entertaining for some people, for some crazy people, but what good will that do in itself? That can only be part of something more complete. And the last one here, to demand some type of response from the reader, well, that's really, excuse me, in my opinion, that's really wrong. In this kind of letter, that is really out of place because, well, at least in the contentious and oh my gosh, I can't pronounce my English today. In a country full of litigation, sorry, like Canada, people are thinking, the type of response will have to come after the lawyers have changed and after there's a lot of discussion. So this is just an initial letter. This is not the time to demand compensation or response or anything like that. That comes later. In fact, it must not come at this stage for all kinds of legal reasons that escape me. Now it's down here. How about the main purpose? Well, okay. Arturo said that strong language might be appropriate, and the reader should know that you are not calm and happy and relaxed about the situation. Well, I tend to think that's true, but since this type of letter has legal uses and will be referred to later, you might want to avoid saying anything that could be embarrassing later. Your own sources, your own feelings of anger might become causes of embarrassment later. So you want to show by maintaining concise, neutral language that you did not contribute in any way to whatever situation it is that you're complaining about. You've got to take what we call the higher road. The higher road, ethically, morally, keeping the most dignity and also the most scientific objectivity. Let's have a look at the next stage, the next step. How is that word pronounced? I can't pronounce it today. I can't say it. We're going to have to look it up afterwards. So read the task. Well, we did that. We read the task here. And ultimately, today, I hope, you're going to write 180 words minimum. So let's do this now. If you're working, think about your own situation. If you're a student, think about someone you know with a job. All right. So this is discussion time. Ramon, can you read the first one right here, number one, the first
Yes.
one, please?
Have you or has someone you know ever had food poisoning? What happened?
Okay, that's not a pleasant question.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and they phrase it like a yes/no question. Obviously, it's not a yes/no question. They want you to tell us the story.
Yeah.
Can you say yes to that? And do you have a brief story about this kind of incident?
Yes, I once went to a congress and they serve tacos, moronga tacos, tacos de moronga. I don't know the term in English.
I don't either.
Moronga, it's a kind of,
Blood.
yeah, it's a kind of Mexican dish that it is blood and some parts of the pork, and they mix it together with the spice,
Oh my God.
and they do a dish about that. So I tried that. I never tried that. I didn't like that, but I want to try it. So I tried the tacos, and everybody on the conference
Went sick.
they have diarrhea the next day. So that was one very sad.
Which part of the animal is the meat taken from?
Every part of the pork, the leftovers.
Oh,
So they mix.
no.
They,
Oh, Lord.
yeah, they mix it with fat, and the main ingredient is blood.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
Yeah,
Okay. This is moronga.
moronga. So you need to be very careful when you if you want to eat that.
Well, but did anybody need to go to the hospital or seek an antidote or seek medical assistance?
I don't know because it was at the afternoon of the event, so I didn't get in touch with the other colleagues. So I don't know if they need to go to the hospital or something like that.
Gracious Lord, that's so awful.
Yeah.
I hope somebody wrote a nice letter of complaint to the suppliers. Suppliers. Oh,
I don't think so.
no,
You know, I think happened something like that. They gave tuna, poisoned tuna,
Mm-hmm.
and there were like 30 people sick at hospital, teachers, students, and so forth. That happened like 10 years ago.
I see.
I think.
Well, I don't.
In which campus?
Yes,
Which campus?
yeah, in Campos Ciudad de Mexico.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Really?
Right here in town. Well,
Yes.
I must mention this is something that maybe you can explain to me about Mexico in nice, in your best English. Your English is very good, so I'm got both ears open here to what you're going to say about this. Last night I was in the dentist's office, and it seemed like a very nice little clinic, a home clinic, but nicely appointed and equipped, well equipped. Apparently everything quite modern. And the dentist seemed to be an experienced man. However, he did not put on latex gloves, nor did he put a gauze mask to proceed with his examination. And he began to pick away at my teeth with his fingernails.
Ew.
No gloves?
I'm sorry?
No gloves?
No gloves, no latex
Oh.
gloves, none of that. Now, I'm
That's
not
not common.
gentleman's hygiene. His personal hygiene seemed to be of a very high standard. It surprised me. It surprised me very much that he would proceed in this way. And we were talking about things the way you do in the dentist's office, the way you talk to a barber, you know, gossip about politics in the news and, you know, international affairs and so forth. And he said to me, now here's something I want you to explain to me. Please try to explain this to me with all of your insights, your professional and cultural and personal insights and experience. He said, well, you know, in Mexico, we are muy what was the word?
Aguantadores.
That one.
We are very resistant.
Yeah.
Very resistant.
Yeah, that would be the word, resistant. So
Okay.
we can have a lot of, the joke is like you are going to build resistance or immune to bacteria. So you have to eat tacos at the corner in order to get resistance to bacteria. So you can eat anywhere and you didn't get sick. You are
You
not going
became
to.
immune.
Okay, let me see if I can add some suggestions to that. You're talking about building up immunity. Is that what you're
Right.
saying? Oh my. Okay, so if you have your nice daily dose, starting out very small and working up to larger and larger doses over time, your daily dose of tacos de perro and all of this,
Yeah,
eventually you'll become aguantadora.
yeah.
Do you believe that?
No.
No.
No, because
You know, you have to have a stomach of like a crusher.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, back home, the expression that you're looking for, I think, would be a lead-lined stomach. A lead-lined stomach.
Okay.
What is a lining? Do you know what a lining is?
Lining.
Yeah, like the inside of your coat. You know, your coat has a lining inside, right?
Right.
I don't know the Spanish word, but you know what I mean, the lining. So the idea is that if you have a lead-lined gut or stomach, you can have your tacos de perro every day and your moranga, pozole de chapulines and all of that. But I don't think it builds up like that. I don't think you can build up immunity like that. You need to have a genetically a genetically conferred lead-lined stomach. And so some people have it and some people don't. At least this is my miserable experience. Now, this next question, your number 2. This is interesting. Arturo, could you read this, please, and try to comment on it? Number 2.
Okay. Yes. If there was an outbreak of food poisoning at your workplace, what would be the result? What would some of the consequences be for the staff affected and for the company as a whole?
Okay.
If there is an outbreak as a result of this, the company would be affected because people or the personnel is going to be absent for some days, and then the company would be affected. Okay.
Excuse me, Arturo, let me just interject 2 things.
Okay.
The first is that I am an old English teacher. I'm more conservative than whoever wrote this. So I just wanted to point out something to all of you. Notice the first line. If there was an outbreak of food poisoning at your workplace, what would happen? Now, in my English, or the book English, I think my English is more or less book English, or much of the time it is. I would not say if there was an outbreak. I would have to say if there were an outbreak, because
Either were.
this is the form of this is the standard form, the conservative standard form of the non-real conditional. There's an exception for the non-real conditional, one little exception. You use the past tense form of the verb. So if I ate tacos, okay, past form of the verb. If I were a taco eater, if I were a taco lover, not if I was, but it's a fact that many people now are not respecting that little exception with the verb to be, if I were rather than if I was. Okay, that's not a major point, but I am mentioning it because you will see both. And if you already know, because I'm telling you that both exist, it will not disrupt your learning or cause any needless question. Now, let's look at the second point. You referred to the staff. You say the staff would be affected. But Arturo, you used another word. You used the word personal.
Personal, right.
Okay, now this is a BULATS type trap. We have two words in English to refer to the team of hired people working for us in a company. One of these words is staff, and it comes to us from the Germanic heritage, our Germanic heritage. Remember that we have doublets in English. We often have two words for more or less the same thing. One comes from our Germanic side, and the other comes from the Franco-Latinate side. So we have doublets here. We have a doublet pair. One is staff, and the other one is personnel. The word that you meant was personnel. Let me see if I can find a place to type. Here. Okay, so the word that you're looking for is this one, personnel.
Right.
And the word that you pronounced was this one, personal.
Yes.
Okay, now these are two related but totally different words. So personal is an adjective, personnel is a noun. So personal is an adjective that describes something which pertains to the individual, and therefore to the person. But personnel is a noun referring to the group of hired people, the staff, okay? That's the other pair, the other member of the pair, of this doublet pair, the people who work for us. Let's see if we can go and just look at the definition like this. Personnel.
Personnel.
Okay. Synonyms. Okay. Staff, employees, workforce, workers, labor force, human resources, manpower, and so on like that. You know. This expression here, liveware. I haven't heard that one used very much, but it's not exactly the same thing, obviously. Notice what it says here. Notice the definition. The personnel are the people employed in an organization or engaged in an organized undertaking. So we will use this word personnel when we're talking about military groups and subgroups. Now let's look at the meaning of staff and see how close it is. Staff is a little bit more general. All the people employed in any particular organization. Now you see, this is typical. The Anglo-Germanic word will usually have a broader definition, and the Franco-Latin word will often have a more narrow and specific, and sometimes more formal or more technical definition, or let's say scope of meaning. So if you were to draw a little circle here. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Okay. You might have this and this. And these two concentric circles represent the meaning content of two words. In this case, one word is staff and one word is personnel. So where is each of these words in this drawing? Where is staff and where is personnel? Oh, Susana, we can't hear you.
Staff will be the bigger and
Yes.
personnel the
Smaller.
Evidently. So we have the Anglo-Germanic word, which is more comprehensive and more wide open for possible meanings and applications. And personnel is a little bit more narrow. Let me just remove this gross little drawing here.
What about manpower?
Well, manpower, I couldn't paraphrase it. I'm going to take you straight to the proposed definition. Here we go. Yeah, well, the number of people working or available for work. Yeah, that's summarizing it fairly well. For example, we'll find it frequently in contexts like this, with collocations like this. Limited manpower, plenty of manpower, abundant manpower. But then that's referring to quantities. Now, what they don't say here, which bothers me a little bit, is that we often also have the word manpower in collocation with adjectives of quality, not only quantity. So we have suitable manpower, the right manpower, the skilled manpower, and so forth. I would say that manpower can be qualified both for quantity and for character or quality. What am I saying? Qualified. Qualified or modified in the sense of adjectival modification, like the numbers, the sizes, and also the types, the qualities, and so forth.
Thank you.
You ought, no, not at all. This is interesting. All of us are learning from this all the time. So where did our exercise go? Whoops, time out. What happened? Oh dear, we got timed out, did we? Okay, so let's close this and go back to. Yeah, okay, we're back to Cambridge. And we have to go back to find that room. Display all rooms. Okay, BULATS. And we were doing writing. Of course, we were doing writing, and we were talking about the ins and outs of writing letters of complaint. Writing, here we go. Okay, now let's see if we can get at least to the end, and I can leave you with this task, and I suggest that you take your time doing it, and over the next days, you can write to me. I will be traveling, but you write to me, and I will correct this thing and send it back to you. So here we go, writing skills, part 1. Where was it, part 1 or part 2? It's part 2.
Part 2, I guess.
I think so, I'm trying to remember. It was the first or second point, I believe. No, it was the third. Here we go. Complaint letter. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to go page by page to where we were. That's okay. Okay, see, this mother is 12. And we were on the next section. Where's we? All right. So another little task, which is interesting. Unfortunately, I can't seem to get all of it onto the page. I'm going to do something very painful here. I'm going to zoom out. Oh, jeez, that hurts. Can you see the whole thing now? I can't. I can't see the whole darn thing. Okay, so what does it do? It says choose the correct color in the letter. This is the letter over here, and we'll read
Yeah.
it better. And match each statement. See, what we're doing here, let me explain briefly. What we're doing is a quick exercise in recognizing the types of parts of the letter. So they're claiming that you should organize it like this. Let's read the whole letter. Who wants to read? Mr. Ramon, are you still there?
Yes.
Can you read the letter?
Yes. Yes, dear Mr. Cameron, we are writing to inform you that delivered chicken fillets order number CF3454 was contaminated.
Okay, wait. Please pronounce contaminated.
Contaminated.
Yes, better, much better. Yes, please continue.
Yes. Was contaminated.
No. Contaminated.
Contaminated.
Yes, not contaminated. Okay. In Jamaica and some other places, you will hear people pronounce the word that way. Okay.
Yeah.
But you want to say was contaminated. The delivery of chicken fillets was contaminated. Can you repeat after me? The delivery of chicken fillets was contaminated.
The delivery of chicken fillets was contaminated.
Like that. Yes, like that. Please continue.
The Food Safety Authority has inspected the cafeteria. According to their inspectors, the chicken was contaminated before it arrived on our premises. They believe that the contamination happened at the processing stage.
Good. Okay, let's talk about this quickly. Okay, this is, can you just repeat after me, please? The chicken was contaminated.
The chicken was contaminated.
The chicken was contaminated before it arrived.
The chicken was contaminated before it arrived.
The chicken was contaminated before it arrived on our premises.
The chicken was contaminated before it arrived on our premises.
Very good. Okay, that is so natural. The way you said it there is so natural and fluent and flowing and everything. That's perfect. So they believe that the contamination. Okay, I see what the problem is here. Can you, Ramon? Can you pronounce just this word here?
Contamination?
Yes, exactly. And now pronounce this word here.
Contaminated?
Okay, good. Okay, so the accent's not in the same place. The accent is not on the same syllable.
Contaminated.
The reason for this I can give you in just 20 seconds and a later date. I can send you a lesson which I have prepared on this topic.
Yes.
Especially the Franco-Latinate portion of our vocabulary is built up with roots and suffixes, sometimes more than one suffix. And what's interesting about this is that with different suffixes, the accent will go in different syllables in the word. So you have contaminate, that's the word, to contaminate. And then contaminated, because this ed suffix doesn't cause the accent to change. But this other word, contamination, that suffix does cause the accent to change position. And so it's not how would you say it? It's not contamination, okay, that doesn't exist. It's contamination, the accent moves. And then contaminate and contaminated, okay? So I have a text which I can share with you. I can show it to you.
Yeah, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, I've got it. I'll send it to everybody. I'll mention this. I'll mention this when I post this this little session that we're having, this troubleshooting session that we're having, and I'll post also the link to that text so everyone can see it. Now, why doesn't someone else read the next little bit of text for me? Either of you, Susana or Arturo, please, just go ahead. Jump right in.
And I go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Ladies first.
Oh, ladies first? Okay, sure. Susana?
Thank you, Arthur. 15 staff members ate the chicken in the company cafeteria. They subsequently all became ill with food poisoning. Furthermore, 3 of these workers were seriously affected and had to be admitted to hospital.
Okay. Now, you tell me, Susana, tell me if you can, why does it say here, admitted to hospital? Why does it say admitted to the hospital or admitted to a hospital? Why doesn't it have an article? You happen to know? You know me. I'd love to tell you if you don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, we
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I just know we don't take any.
Oh, okay, you do. Okay, that's good. That's excellent.
But I don't know why.
Okay, well, that's good. Maybe you don't really need to know why, but let me just check this, double check this here. Okay, I give you sentence A and sentence B. Okay, sentence A, my uncle is in prison. Sentence B, my uncle is in the prison. Okay, again, A, my uncle is in prison. B, my uncle is in the prison. Which of these sounds like proper English to you?
A.
Okay.
Okay, so does this entail that B is incorrect? My uncle is in the prison? Is that wrong? Whoops.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me ask you this question then. Next question. Is my uncle a prisoner?
I guess so, because
Okay, Arturo, would you say my uncle is a prisoner? My uncle's in prison. My uncle's in the prison. Well, you don't like.
Yeah. I know the difference.
in the first one, he is a prisoner.
Okay.
And the second one, he's just
like visitor.
yes.
He's physically there for some reason. He's physically there for some reason. Similarly, if you say, where's the Reverend? Well, he's in church. Where's the Reverend? He's in the church. Well, both are possible. If the Reverend is in the church, he's inside the church for some reason. But if he's in church, he's involved with whatever essential activity takes place in that church. If you're in hospital, you are a patient, and probably staying in that place. You're not in the out clinic. You're not in the emergency ward. You're there. Okay, you're being taken care of there, and you're probably spending the night. Now, can you say, where's the doctor? Oh, the doctor's in hospital. Can you say that?
No. What? Well, unless he's sick.
Well, okay, right. If he's a patient and he's in the hospital for treatment, then he's in hospital. Okay, so you've got it. I won't insist on that. Now let's look at pronunciation a little bit. Now, Susana.
Yes.
How do you? Sorry, this is not working. Oh, got it. Got it again. How do you pronounce this?
Food poisoning.
Okay, food poisoning. Now, excuse me. There are some people in some areas that were former colonies of Britain, and also in Great Britain. There are some people speaking a certain dialect who will pronounce this, or who may pronounce this expression in this way. However, in most of the English-speaking world, this expression is considered a compound. It's a compound. Susana, how many words do you see there? How many words are there?
Food and poisoning.
Okay, you see two words? Okay. Now, according to a certain way of thinking, that's, of course, obviously correct. But according to another way of thinking, and most English speakers do think this way unconsciously, that is really one word.
Oh,
It's not two words, it's one word with two parts. And historically, these parts were, of course, individual words. But now this is one word, and we call it a compound. And compound pronunciation in English, for most English speakers, is quite strict. We'll say food poisoning. We won't pronounce food poisoning. That's a little bit unusual. There are some very elegant dialects of English in which this is part of the dialect, and people will pronounce it that way. But most of us in the Americas, for example, we say food poisoning, up, down. Now, I want to show you another example.
food poisoning.
Yeah, food poisoning. Let me see. When you have food for some reason, even though it looks like it should be a compound, it's not pronounced as a compound. It's not analyzed as a compound. It's two words, and we pronounce it chicken filet. Yeah, so there you go. What about this one here? Well, all right. This here is considered a compound. The safety authority, that is really analyzed in our English brains. That's English speakers' brains. That's analyzed as one word. We say safety authority. Now, if it gets complicated like this, well, which safety authority? Well, then you have food. Then it gives you something a little bit trickier to pronounce. It's middle, high, low. You get the food safety authority. The food safety authority. Okay. So, and other people will pronounce it maybe in slightly different ways, but that's what comes most naturally to me, because I see this as a safety authority, a compound, and I see this word food as being safety of food, so it'll come off to me as the food safety authority, the middle, high, low, food safety authority. Let's come back over here. So, how would you pronounce this?
Staff members.
Members.
Well, to me, that looks and feels like a compound. I would not say staff members. Again, there is a dialect in which this is considered quite elegant and normal, but most people I know won't talk about staff members. For example, this room is only for staff members. That's unusual, possible but unusual. The default pronunciation is the compound pronunciation. So, how would you pronounce it?
Staff members.
Okay, up, down. First member, second member, up, down. So, staff members.
Staff members.
Staff members. Now look here. You've got a
Staff
qualifier.
members.
Good. Okay, you've got a qualifier. It's a kind of adjective. It describes, in this case, it describes numerically the staff members. So how would you most naturally pronounce this?
It's like middle, high, low.
Yeah, I think so. Well, but of course, naturally, you want this eventually to come without too much analysis. In time, it will. For the moment, I'm only teaching you this because when you do the BULATS soon, you should be prepared to hear this kind of pronunciation in the other portions of the test, for example. So how would you pronounce this?
15 staff members.
Yeah, so this word, 15 staff members, that's it, 15 staff members. So
15 staff members.
Yeah, 15 staff members ate the chicken in the company cafeteria. Now here, you see, this is a case where we would not, it's very difficult for me to explain to you right here and now in 3 minutes why this is so, but we think of the cafeteria of the company as the company cafeteria. Well, you could say the company's cafeteria. Company cafeteria is short for company's cafeteria, the company's cafeteria.
Mm.
So we don't consider this a compound. Like that's not one word, that really is two words. And we pronounce it down up, company cafeteria.
Company cafeteria.
Okay, now just for kicks. Okay, then we're going to leave this topic because it's not supposed to be about pronunciation. I'm just throwing this in because I love it so much. Can you read that first sentence in the most normal North American way?
Me? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
15 staff members ate chicken in the company cafeteria.
Now that's perfect. Okay, now that, to me, if I just heard that, if I heard a recording of your voice, I heard you saying this in the recording, and nothing before, nothing afterward, just out of the blue, I probably would not catch on to the fact that English is not your mother tongue. I probably would miss it. I probably would not quite pick up on that. In English, the most important thing in speech, in pronouncing English properly, people won't tell you this, but I'm telling you this. Take it from Finley. Papa Finley's been doing this for 27 years, and I've seen this time and time again with French-speaking students, and now with many Spanish-speaking students. The most important thing about English pronunciation is the position of the accent, in which syllable is accentuated in the word, and how that fits in the sentence, how those words are accentuated within the sentence. Those two aspects of pronunciation. If you cannot pronounce certain sounds like a th and a the and other sounds that some people find tricky, it actually doesn't make a dramatic difference. But if you have the accent in the wrong position of the word, on the wrong syllable in the word or within a sentence, that can actually compromise intelligibility to the point that people will treat you differently. People will treat you differently because they think maybe you don't understand them when they're talking, or maybe you don't know what you mean or what you're trying to say, or maybe you don't realize, oh, prejudices come actually from the position of the accent in the word more than from anything else. Can you believe that?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, well, let's see. We've got as much time as you have to finish this. Can we read the rest of this and then we'll go to the homework? Is it possible?
Right.
Can we
Okay.
do that? Let's try this. So Susana read this for us very nicely, and maybe Arturo, you could kill off this section here.
Okay. This situation has had serious financial consequences for our company. One of our projects was closed down for 7 days. It has cost the company over $300,000.
$300,000. Careful. Say the unit. Speak.
Okay, over $300,000.
Good. Yeah.
As well as the financial cost, there was also the health risk to our staff. Staff and management are all very upset by the incident.
Okay. Now let's make sure that this is maximally intelligible. It must be as neutral. Sorry, neutral. As natural sounding as possible. So let's look at this. Quickly, Arturo, how do you pronounce these two together?
Financial cost.
Yeah, because that's down up, because that's an adjective modifying a noun. Those are two separate words. That's not a compound, so you say financial cost. Okay? As well as the financial cost, there was also, just a minute, now let me do this. What's this?
The health risk.
Yes, that's a compound, exactly. So it's not the health risk, it's the health risk. So if you were to read all of this again, Arturo, what would it sound like?
As well as the financial cost, there was also the health risk.
Yeah, it's a health risk to our staff. Very good. Very good. Okay. Ramon, let's go back to you.
Yes.
Read this one for me, please.
We advise you to review your product process with help from the Food Safety Authority. Please suspend all further chicken deliveries to our company cafeteria and contact us once the Food Safety Authority has inspected your factory. After the inspection, we would like to meet with you to discuss the results.
Okay, you see all the euphemisms in there? We advise you.
Yeah.
And also, what is this? Discuss the results. The results of what?
Yeah.
And what about these results? What do you want to talk about? Well, obviously, you see, there's another euphemism that appears in the closing line. We hope this matter can be resolved promptly. How do you expect anybody to resolve this matter? These people lost $300,000. They got sick. Some of them had to go to the hospital. They probably, at first, for the first couple of hours, they probably were afraid that they're going to die. And then for the following 2 or 3 or 4 hours, they were probably afraid that they weren't going to die. You know? So what kind of resolution? What kind of resolution do you suppose the author of this letter is hoping for? Okay, notice how this is done, yours sincerely. And, you know, the person identifies herself and identifies her position and the organization within which that position exists. So what we have over here, okay, look, I just want to mention something. This here, how do you pronounce that?
Chicken deliveries.
Okay, now you're putting an accent on both words. Now that doesn't exist. In English, that's
Okay.
not normal. So is it chicken deliveries or is it chicken deliveries?
That's 2 words.
Yeah, that's the question.
Chicken deliveries.
Okay, let's wait. Okay, don't jump too fast. Let's look at this. How do you pronounce this pair of words here?
Yeah, company cafeteria.
Yeah, because in fact, you could say that company cafeteria means the cafeteria of the company, or if you like, the company's cafeteria. But now come over here to chicken deliveries. Can you refer to the chicken's deliveries? That's kind of strange. That's kind of strange. It's not the deliveries that belong to the chicken, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So this here, chicken deliveries, most North American speakers will interpret that as a compound. We don't know, most people don't know these words. They don't know the word compound or anything like that.
Yeah.
But in their subconscious minds, this is what comes automatically. Oh, this is a compound. Chicken deliveries. And over here, if we say company cafeteria, that's really strange, okay? If you mean the cafeteria that belongs to the company, what's the company cafeteria? So I want you to please read this. Just this, please.
Yes. Please suspend all further chicken deliveries to our company cafeteria.
Yeah, there. Right, that one right there, you've got it. And this is being recorded, by the way. You can listen to it again.
Okay.
That is as North American as you could ask for. That sounds, we understand that instantly because the accents are all in the expected places and we instantly understand the message. Now I find the message really very euphemistic because they're saying something like, you know, the last delivery of chicken that you sent to us almost killed the whole staff. Okay, almost killed the entire workforce in our company. So please don't send us anymore. Okay, thank you, no more chicken deliveries, please. I think that's kind of cute. So what they do over here, let's see. I choose the correct color because the portions of the text are color coded. Choose the color that corresponds to each message statement. So 1, which color identifies the problems caused for the company? Red, brown, orange. Okay, which one? Which one?
Blue.
The red ones.
Ah, there you go. This is, what color is that? I can't even tell for sure. Is that pink or red or, yeah, I think it's pinkish sort of pink, or is it red?
Yeah, that one is pinkish. Yes,
Wait,
that
wait,
is pink.
this is red, okay?
Yeah, I think the red is.
Okay. Do you have separate words for these colors in Spanish?
The red one, I think, is
This is red, roja.
Yeah,
Is this a
pink.
separate, in your minds, in your vocabulary, is this a different color?
Yes,
All right.
that's pink.
Okay, that's pink.
pink, right?
Okay, how about giving additional details that show exactly how the incident affected the company? Oh no, wait now, we got to come back here. Problems caused for the company versus exact details of how the company was affected. I'm not sure. Which is which?
Yeah, the first one is red, the second one is pink.
Okay, let's try that. Okay, so here, problems caused for the company, and here, how the incident affected the company. These are fine points. These are fine points. You know something? I couldn't even tell you for sure what the difference is between these two. I'd have to think about it. Number 3, identify which portion.
Second, sorry, the second.
Both are red.
It's
Number
not-
1 and number 2 are red.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm getting mixed up here. Which is which now?
The second one is pink.
Oh, this one's
Right.
pink? Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that. Thank you, Susana. Sharp eyes. Thank you, because I missed that by a mile. Okay, so number 3, which portion identifies and explains the person or persons responsible for the incident?
Chicken supplier.
Well, what about this one here? What does it say? Food Safety Authority has inspected the cafeteria. According to their inspectors, the chicken was contaminated before it arrived on our premises.
Yeah.
So it wasn't us. I don't know. What is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's the one.
What color is that, though? I don't know the color.
Yellow.
Orange.
Brown.
Yeah. No, it's orange.
You think it's orange? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you for sure. I need glasses, obviously. Number 4 states what action the writer expects from the reader.
Brown.
That's the brown one.
Brown.
Is this brown?
Right.
Yeah.
Or is this brown?
No, that's black.
That is above.
Is that black?
We advise you to review.
That one.
That's brown.
Yeah, that's brown.
That's brown.
We advise you, we recommend that you do this. This is a euphemism. In other words, you had better do this or there will be hell to pay. Okay. All right. So they're advising you. They're advising you. So that's the writer,
Brown.
a certain action. Let's just suppose it's brown. Okay. And 5 identifies the main idea and purpose of the whole letter. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Blue, maybe.
Blue?
The first paragraph.
I didn't see the blue. Tell me.
It's the first one.
Oh,
That is the blue one.
okay. Really? Now you see, I wonder about that.
Yeah.
Because is it really just for information? I mean, if it were just for information, it's the same letter in that case. It should be the same letter that I send to the families of the victims, right? I mean, if that's, I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm missing something here. I would suppose, as both of these gentlemen were suggesting earlier, that you could have, what did you call it, a shallow analysis versus a deep analysis of the motives or the purpose. Okay, so you decide. I don't know. Number 5, which one would you put?
Blue.
Okay, I don't see blue. Where do you see blue?
It's the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I don't see blue.
There's in the middle.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
in the middle.
It's
Oh
number
my
4.
gosh.
There.
Oh, you've got good eyes. I could hardly see it. I've got my face like 6 centimeters away from the screen.
Yeah.
I can barely see this. And the 6 describes what happened and gives some of the relevant details. Well, what happened exactly?
Maybe the green.
Which one? Green.
Green.
Okay, this part and this part. Okay, this part does speak of consequences.
Because, yeah, that's consequences, not the.
And,
So we are missing something.
well, here it talks about the money. It talks about the hospitalization and
Our team.
all the trouble. So is that what happened? Are those
Maybe the green one is number 2.
maybe the green is number 2? Additional details that show exactly how the incident affected the company.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here it doesn't give the exact details here about financial
No.
consequences,
No, you're right.
but it does give them here in the red.
Yes.
Similarly, it doesn't give the exact details of the health problems, but it does here. It says people went to hospital, or 3 of them went to hospital. I think personally that you've got things in the right place, but you decide. And if we come down here, what does that leave you with? Mm-hmm. Just my suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah, green, because it's the last color remain.
We miss.
Okay, by elimination? All right. Okay,
Elimination.
Yeah.
you're like my students. They won't answer all of the questions on my test by elimination.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get explicit instructions that says, do not proceed by elimination, because some of the answers may be needed twice, and some of the answers may not be needed at all. I'm not telling you. But they will ignore that, and they'll do the same. They'll cross off each answer each time they use it. And let's look at the answer key. Okay.
Oh,
Well, you got everything according to them. You got everything exactly.
no, they change.
Whoops. What did I do? Did I lose the? Oh no, here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Did they choose one? I didn't notice.
Yeah, they changed the last one is
The
pink.
language is pink.
Oh, see, look at that. Okay. Describe what happened and give some of the relevant details.
And the first one is green.
And the very first one, identify the problem. Identify the problem. Okay, oh, well, all right. So this is simply what happened. And this says why the event was a problem. Okay, well, I don't know. I figure if I have to go to the hospital, that's a problem. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we missed also the second one.
Really?
Yeah.
Give additional details to show exactly how the incident affected the company. Red. Okay. Well, one of our projects was closed down for 7 days, and that cost the company. Oh, I see. Well, I see what they mean. I wasn't looking closely enough. How it affected the company per se, the company as a company. Okay. Well, the company loses money. For the company, I guess that's the most important thing. Company loses projects, loses money. You see, I did not do a deep analysis of this letter. Whoops, what did I do again? Okay, we're gonna go here. Let's see what we can do with this. What else can we do? Okay, well, here they're just asking you to put words into the letter that you've already seen. It's the same letter, okay? And what they're doing is they're explicating, not only explaining, but explicating, which is a little bit different. They're explicating some of the expressions that are used. Now, this is interesting. We could spend a few minutes looking at that. You see they give you a choice up here. This is good for your vocabulary. Do you want to do this one now quickly?
Yes.
But very quickly.
Yes.
Just very quickly. So you see, you're looking for equivalence and near equivalence.
Yeah.
We're writing to tell you that a chicken.
To inform.
Inform you.
There you go. Perfect. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Was bad. Okay.
Contaminated.
Contaminated. Please pronounce
Contaminated.
Yeah.
Contaminated.
That one. So
Okay.
when I bring home something from the store that is contaminated, my mother opens it. Well, my wife, she opens it. Supposing I'm not the one who's cooking that evening, and the first thing that will come out of her mouth will not be, "Oh, gracious Lord, this chicken is contaminated." They won't say that. They say, "Oh, this chicken is bad. This chicken went bad, or this chicken smells bad. Bad meaning in Anglo-Germanic, meaning contaminated, like rotten.
Yeah.
So the Food Safety Authority has looked at the cafeteria.
Inspected. Inspected.
And according to their inspectors, the chicken was contaminated before it arrived on our place.
Premises.
Okay, can you
Premises.
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 Yes.
Okay, you got it. Premises. Premises refers to, well, you know the word. You know what it means?
Yes.
Okay. Now, just for kicks, Susana, I love picking on you. I'm sorry. Can you read this sentence? Just read this sentence. Make it sound really North American.
They believe that the contamination happened at the processing stage.
Okay. Can you say processing stage?
Processing stage.
Yes, that's it. That's because that is a compound. That definitely is a compound. It is not the stage that belonged to the processing. That makes no sense.
Right.
So it's not the processing stage, tampoco. That makes no sense. And it is a compound, a processing stage. Can you say
processing stage?
Can you read it again, please, just for me?
They believe that the contamination happened at the processing stage.
Okay, now that sounds so totally normal, so totally native. If I heard just that in a recording, I would not know that this is some Mexican lady, professor someplace who's learning it. No, I'd never imagined that. I never would imagine that. So let's look at the rest. 15 staff members, ate the chicken in the company cafeteria. They subsequently all became ill. Or we say they subsequently all fell ill. That's another expression. They fell ill. They became ill with food poisoning. Furthermore, 3 of these workers were badly affected.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Seriously.
Okay.
Seriously.
Now this might interest you. The word seriously and the word affected go together. They make a unit, and the first word modifies the second word. So the rule in English is very simple. The modifier has a lower accent. The modified word has a higher accent. So this means seriously affected. Yeah, that's it. Go do it.
Seriously affected.
That is the normal way. That's the normal sounding way. They subsequently all became ill with food poisoning. Furthermore, 3 of these workers were seriously affected. Had to
be admitted?
Yeah, they had to be admitted to the hospital. No, the situation has had, I don't know. What does it have? The situation has had
serious financial consequences.
Okay, now that's good. Now you see, here you've got consequences modified by financial, but it's also being modified over here by serious. So you've got 2 adjectives modifying consequences, and the rule doesn't change. It's down, down, up. So how would you say that? This situation has had, like this. How would you say that?
The situation has had serious financial consequences.
Yes, that's so normal sound. The way you sound, the way you say that, the way you sound when you say that, it just brings joy to my heart, because suddenly it's like the sun comes up. You know, the sun comes up and shines over the valley. You know, it's the difference between day and night. The situation has had serious financial consequences for our company. One of our projects was closed down for 7 days, which has cost the company over $300,000, as well as the
financial
cost. There was also the health risk compound, okay? The health risk to our staff, and so on and so on. What else have we got here? Well, we've got the rest of the text, but we don't have any more challenges. So why don't we've got a few minutes left only, so why don't we jump on the next next little exercise. What do they want us to do here? Well, this is so silly. This is nothing. Pronouns and determiners. Okay, reference of the pronouns. Basically, this exercise, I remember, doesn't say anything about determiners, but it does ask you for reference of the pronouns. So who does we refer to? We are writing to inform you that it should blah, blah, blah. Okay. You've got all these pronouns. So who's we? This was the author.
Company.
And this is the company that she represents. The Food Safety Authority.
No.
How about the staff who ate the contaminated chicken?
No. They are sick.
Okay, they're too sick to be writing letters.
Right.
So you probably assume that Paula Rose is speaking.
The second one.
Company.
She's signing the letter, but she's saying we. Now that is not the royal we, the we that is used by the Queen of England. When the Queen of England is speaking and refers to herself, she says we. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
We call that the royal we. And one of the jokes is, we are not amused. Of course, that was not the current queen. It was a past queen who supposedly said this. We are not amused. Okay. Of course, that was the royal we, and people laugh at this. But in her speeches, listen to those speeches if you can stand them from beginning to end. I mean, they're not silly or stupid speeches, but they're boring. You know, you might listen to them for a few minutes, and you'll notice that the royal we appears, and she's talking about herself. So here, the royal we is the company we, if you like. Now, this is not only for royalty. It does refer to situations like this when you have a collectivity speaking through one mouthpiece. Now, any lawyer or any union worker or any secretary will have to do this. How about you? Who is you? Oh my God. Who is you?
The company that supplied the chicken.
Yeah.
Now, this is the person who receives the letter, and this is the entity that he represents, you know. So I suppose you could say that it's not Mr. Braithwaite himself, but the company. Let's just the answer key. And your answers correspond to theirs. So why don't we just go shooting on through the next stage? Now they want you to do the same thing. Oh my. They give you the same text, but now they're testing the memory and mastery. You saw the text already once. Let's see how swiftly you can put in the right prepositions. This is part of the writing test for sure. This is why that book that I showed you, you know the book I'm talking about?
Yes, the preposition.
400 words. I got it here somewhere. For God's sake, don't neglect this book. This one here. 400 common. Okay, what did I do with my... Oh, here we go. Okay, so let's do this like in 60 seconds. We are writing
to inform you.
Okay, that's the preposition to, the to of purpose that goes with infinitives. We're writing for what purpose? For the purpose of, we're writing in order to inform you. Very good. So we're writing to inform you. The Food Safety Authority has inspected the cafeteria. According to the inspectors, the chicken was contaminated before it arrived
on our premises.
Okay. I'm from Canada. I would say on. I would say on. Many people consider, there are two ways of saying this, on premises or at premises. At premises like at an address, on premises meaning inside. So you see, both are possible, and the one that they put is at. How about they believe that the contamination happened
on
the processing stage.
On? Are you sure?
By?
No.
By, at, with, on, to, of?
On.
On. Yes.
Now, a processing stage is not something that we visualize as a container that can take contents. It's not.
At,
Whoops! What happened here? What happened to my?
Uh-oh.
Oh, fiddlesticks! Fiddle damn sticks! What did we do? We weren't inactive for 45 minutes. Or is that the other page? Just a minute now. Where is that? Where did that silly thing go? Okay, we start over again. We find it again. Sorry, this is going to take a minute. Sorry about that. I don't know why they kicked us out, because we were not inactive. Well, anyway, so just take a minute to relocate. We were here, and we skipped to here, and then we skipped to number 4, right? Okay, we're here. All right, so
yes.
we're talking about happen. Now, on is like a surface. So the image
Okay.
of one thing in contact with another thing, and it's an up-down relationship. At is possible because you can talk about a stage as, and the images as a place, and
Yeah.
a stage can be sort of like, can be compared to like one address, another address, another address. Like so apartment 301, apartment 302, apartment 303, at this address, at the next address, at the address afterwards, you see? So at this time, at the next time, at another time later, at this stage, at another stage, and at a later stage. So at is possible, and some people would write probably during. Okay? That's something that some people might do. Let's go down quickly. The contamination happened. Okay, fine. Furthermore, 3.
Of.
Yeah.
Of these
Okay.
workers.
So we're giving part to whole relationships, like a number from a larger number. You use 3 of them. Fine. The situation has serious financial consequences for our company. One of our projects has closed down.
For 7 days.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you use this word "for" when referring to time periods. It's a time word that's used to introduce periods. We talked about that in the exercise that I gave you to do, and we still haven't discussed in full detail yet. Now, staff and management are all very upset.
By.
Yeah, that's possible. That is possible. And some people in America, in the Americas, might say, well, okay, no, okay, upset with, you usually upset with somebody. Okay, I'm very upset with my sister because she borrowed the car without asking me permission. That's now, if you're talking about a situation, you can be very upset about a situation. Now, if on the other hand, let me give you the third possibility. If you use the word by, that means that something has been like a trigger. It's been like a cause.
Oh, yes.
So this incident has come and it has caused you great upset. And so you see, upset with, upset by, and upset about are a little bit different from each other. They're not redundant with each other. So after the inspection, I'm down here, after the inspection, we would like to meet.
With you?
Yeah, that's possible. In my English, I might say meet with you, and I might say meet you. They don't mean the same thing. Can you tell me the difference between meeting somebody and meeting with somebody? What's the difference?
No.
Well, okay, to meet someone is very general in meaning. It can mean all kinds of things. To meet with someone means that you get together with that person or with that someone for the purpose, usually it's for the purpose, the express purpose of settling some kind of issue. So my students sometimes ask to meet me, and sometimes they ask to meet with me, and it's not necessarily the same thing. I have a student who wrote to me after her graduation party, "Teacher, I want to meet you so much. Is there some way I can meet you next week to say thank you before I leave university forever?" Now, on the same day, there's a student who wrote to me asking, "Teacher, can I meet with you? I'd like to discuss my grade." You see the difference?
Yes.
There's a difference. There's a hell of a difference. Well, all of these could lead to lots of discussion, but let's look at the answer key, just see if, make sure I wasn't misleading you here. Okay, contended before it arrived on our premises. You see, that's the one that I wasn't fond of, and that's the one that Arturo, I think, suggested, and I was saying other things. Here, you see, at the processing page, you see each of these, and this one here, okay? And this one here, of course, there's three different possibilities with a difference in meaning with each one that you choose. Well, there you go. There you go. So let's finish this now. Let's go to stage 5 and see what they're asking for. Stage 5. Okay. Well, here are your 2 paragraphs. They're asking you to choose from them. And which one is inappropriate for a business complaint letter, A or B? Inappropriate.
A is inappropriate.
Your company supplied us with terrible and dangerous food products. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And why is this paragraph inappropriate? Well, you have at least one proper answer here. What do you think?
And the last one, it uses exaggerated vocabulary.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And it is the information is not specific enough.
Mm-hmm.
But you can use more than one?
I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I think they allow you
Yeah.
to.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Too many technical words?
No.
Too polite?
No.
No.
Would you say it's not specific enough? Stop
Yes.
workers from eating food. Like what food? Which food?
Yeah.
And then this statement here is like an emotional outburst. It's hardly
Yes.
Yeah.
okay. So which one do you put? Here? Also?
Yes.
That one.
Oh, okay, let's see what they say. Yeah, well, those are their
Yeah.
answers. That's the way they see it as well. Okay. Let me see. On premises, on site, I arrived on site. The police are on the premises at this moment. Yeah, that's right. I know what's wrong with me. I must be dizzy and tired. So you see here, they've got several more like this. I noticed that we've almost been here for 2 hours, and I'm not sure you want to stay longer than 2 hours. But the tasks, let's just quickly look through the tasks. They're asking you here in the first task to write a letter of complaint. And here's the context, which you already know by heart by now, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the details? You decide, or any other points, and just put it into this many words. That's it, okay? So you know about all this.
You have to use those
Well,
that information or not necessarily.
well, I don't know if, all right, that's up to you. That's really up to you. I
Okay.
think so. Personally, I think so, because that is the context of your complaint. So the first, perhaps unspoken requirement of this sort of task is, of
Mhm.
course, that you should stay on topic. That's a complaint that English teachers have all the time when they're correcting homework. They say, you're not on topic, you're going off topic. So obviously, these are the contextual details. This is the contextual background of your complaint. So to stay on topic, you're going to talk about those things, and probably you will not talk about the pros and cons of the Apocrypha or the next presidential election. You probably won't go into that. You'll probably stick into the $300,000, stick to the details about the dollars lost, the people in hospital, the projects jeopardized, the solvability of the company also jeopardized, and sort of like that. You know, I don't remember what the other pages are about. Oh, you see what happened. What they want you to do here, sorry, because there's pages too long, eh? They simply wanted you to take these and drag them to the right boxes. But you already know them. We've done this. We've done this since the beginning. Let's look at the next page. Yeah. Okay. Type the opening and closing for the letter. What's the opening and closing? You should know those formula. They write something like this: Dear Mr. Son of a gun, like that. And you notice something in their format? They put no, like, I'm old-fashioned. To me, if you don't put a comma and skip a space, it's wrong. I just can't stand it. But I noticed that in their model, they put no comma. They put no comma. Yeah. All right. Let's look at the next exercise. Read the content notes, blah. Type the first 2 paragraphs, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know that. And I'm going to ask you to do that in a minute anyway. And what about here? Read the content. It's the same thing, the stuff that you already know. At the 3rd paragraph. Remember, each paragraph is about one of each of those 3 parts. Like, what happened, how did it affect you, and what demands are you making? Well, you're making them politely. You're making requests, but okay. So that's each part. And finally, type the 4th paragraph. Okay, there's a sign off. And,
Excuse me, the number of words are editing each paragraph. I mean, they are accumulated or not?
Actually, you know something? I'm not sure about that. This is just an
You have to go and summing.
I think so, but that doesn't really matter to you, because you're not going to have access to this interactive site. I'm just going to simply ask you to do in your own words what they've done here, using the same context. And obviously, you're going to have to refer to memory. This is the most important part. Letter of complaint. Letter of complaint. Yeah. With these 3 things here. What happened? And what did that do to you? And what do you demand of the offending party? Actually, you know something? I think that this is overkill. I think it would be good if you did write a letter of complaint and that you followed these criteria. Follow these criteria. And also, of course, at the beginning and at the end, you know, sign in and sign out, you know, greetings and salutations, the way that they present it. But about something else. I'm sure that you have many things which you could complain about as employees or as customers or as clients. Not the same thing, right? Or even as patients or other things. And you could easily write letters about any of those things, match with the business context. See? Write a letter of complaint. How do you open the letter? How do you develop the letter? What are the parts? How is it articulated? And how do you close the letter? And can you do all of that within, you know, this many words? Susana, what do you think? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Susana, your voice has gotten very deep.
Yeah.
Who was that? Was that Ramon? Or was that Arturo?
That's Ramon.
That's Ramon.
All right. All right. Any of you 3, I invite you now to answer. That sounds like something you'd like to do. You could write this over the next days, whenever it's convenient.
Yes.
Mail it to me. Word document, please. Word document, because I go crazy otherwise trying to.
Yes.
It's hopeless. In the body of the letter, it's almost hopeless. But if you send me, tack on a little Word document, and I can correct it and send it back to you. and I think that might be beneficial. Before I leave you, before you run off, can you tell me what kind of complaints that you might want to make?
Sorry?
I'm still confused about the different tests, Joel.
The different tests?
Yes, the various tests that we have to do in this in these days, in the next days.
Oh, I see.
You have said that you encourage us to prepare the test of reading and listening.
Oh, yes, yes, I have said that. I have said that repeatedly. There's a
Yes.
reason for that. That particular test is the longest one. Some people, it's although it's not the hardest, it is the one that they actually work on.
And my question is, we have to prepare or to practice this test in the way that I did, and I sent to you some screenshots. Okay, I'm gonna put my email to see what the results are. However, I don't know how many times or classes we have in this when we are practicing this reading listening.
Okay, let me see if I can sort this out.
And also, if after that we have to do the actual or the real test, and when we have to do that. Also, there are two other exams or two tests, that is speaking and writing. And it's also for practice. My question is for practice and for the actual. Then this is my confusion.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Oops. ¿Qué pasó?
That's the alarm.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That means our time is running out. Okay, so let me see if I can field this question. Okay, I can only give you the information that I have for sure. And the information that I have about the deadline, because really that's what you're asking me. When is the deadline for doing these 3 tests? I believe it's February, but I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that yet, because I'm not sure. I asked, of course I asked. My understanding is that sometime not too long after this course, yes, you will be required to do your best on these 3 tests and show that you can pass the C1 average. Now, what we're trying to do here, Arturo, what we're trying to do is we're trying to beat the competition to the punch here. We're trying to get you to take these tests before this deadline, whenever it actually is. I suppose February. I suppose. Okay, and since we're allowed to do this, I mean, why not? Why not? You can take these tests and take them as many times as you like. Well, theoretically, as many times as you like, but you know, certainly more than once, and you can consider them. Think of them as practice. Now, this one that you've been trying to do online, and there's a problem there. Maybe an email address missing. I don't know exactly what happened, but that's good. But we should be moving past that. I would hope that everybody has tried that, just to get a first taste of what the format of the test is like. But please, as soon as you can, take advantage of the school's offer to do the real test, because they're letting you take it over. They're letting you take it over. After you've taken it once and you have your results, you will know yourself exactly where you need to work harder if you don't make C1. I think that Arturo, because I've been listening to him speak for the past few weeks here, Arturo will probably make C1 or C2 in the first try. I'm almost sure of it. Maybe Arturo, maybe you need to prove this to yourself. As soon as you're ready, I've got the tokens right here. I'll send it right off to you, shoot it right off, and you do it. So your confusion was about which tests you had to do and by when you had to do them. Is this right?
Yes, and also when you are saying that if we are prepared for the actual test, and you are going to provide the tokens, when is going to be happen this?
Whenever you want to.
What, Arturo?
For the reading and listening. For reading and listening.
For the whole test.
For the whole exam.
Well, wait now. It is in 3 parts, and you don't have to do the 3 parts together. There's the listening and reading comprehension part. That's one exam, okay? And it's off. You do that, you come back the next day or the same day and you can do next I would suggest that you do the writing exam next. That's a good progression. The advised progression is usually comprehension, then writing, and last of all, speaking. Mostly for psychological reasons. Most of the students feel pressure, different degrees of pressure, and for each of these tests. And that usually is the recommended progression. But you can do it in any order that you like. So Arturo, those are the 3 tests. No, they're not taken together. They are separate. If you're a glutton for punishment, you might take all 3 of them on the same day at the same time. But it could make you tired. You might get tired if you did all 3 of them. But you're free. You're free to do that if you like as well. Now,
How long are they? Excuse me.
Okay.
More or less.
This question has been asked before, and I think I answered it, but I wasn't 100% certain. I know that the reading and listening comprehension tests are together. That's one test. It is the longest, and I believe it's something like 80 minutes. I remember 80 minutes or 85. And some people finish faster. Many of my students finish in a half hour. They're ready to go. They're ready to go home. So, you're timed, but you can finish faster. You just cannot go past a certain time. That's one. The other test, writing, is a bit shorter. I believe it's between half hour and 45 minutes. There too, students, some go very quickly. And the speaking test is the shortest of the 3. I believe it's under 20 minutes. No more than
let me tell you, I have here an email from Megan.
Yes.
It was dated December 13. That says the following. Writing exam will be a total of 45 minutes for 2 different parts. The speaking exam will not exceed 15 minutes. And also there's another bullet that says you can take the bullets online as many times as you want.
Sure.
You must contact Megan for speaking and writing test token. And then with these instructions, speaking and writing tokens are going to be provided by Megan. In reading and listening, the token is going to be provided by you. Is that right?
Either one of us. We have the same tokens.
Okay.
We have the same tokens. Either one of us. It's just for convenience that both of us have made ourselves available to do this because it is vacation, and sometimes people take almost 20 minutes to answer their email during vacation. You have to.
But is one token for everything?
No, madam.
Or is one token for each of them?
Each of these tests. So
a different token.
So the listening and reading test that's combined. It's one test. That's 80 minutes or something like that. That's one.
But I mean, the token is the same one?
No.
What?
Or you need a different token?
We need 3 tokens. Aren't we?
There will be a total of 3 tokens. There'll be one token for the speaking.
For each one.
For the comprehension, speaking and reading comprehension. Another token for writing, and another token for speaking.
Okay.
Joel, another question. In the page of bullets, in this section of preparation, there are different numbers of different bullets. And the number ones is choose a bullets online sample test. Reading and listening, speaking and writing. Number two says click on tutorial to see how to answer the different questions, or click on test to take the demonstration test. Three, once you have clicked on test, enter the correct code that is below. There are 3 squares, one for reading and listening, one for speaking, and one for writing. These tokens, that is DEMBUL1, DEMBUL1SP, and DEMBUL1W, these are only for practicing. Is it right?
That's correct. Those are for practice, but also, Arturo, they're greatly abridged. They're greatly abridged. So you can look at them. They're quite short, and you need to go to the next level of challenge, the next level as soon as you can.
What is that? What is that next level? I couldn't follow you.
The real tokens, the real exam.
The real tokens. Okay.
What I mean is, go and ask me for a token and do the real test. And if you do well, if you do well enough on that test, you won't need to do it again. That's it. Finished. You'll be in the clear.
Okay. Then these tokens that are in this page is only for practicing.
That's
and
right.
when we believe that we are ready, we are going to ask you for the actual test, for the actual token.
Yes, yes. And if you go to that page again, Arthur, you'll see that you're supposed to click on a slightly different. You're supposed to click somewhere else, and they'll take you to the real. Can you share pages with us, please? Can you share screens? I'm sorry. Can you share screens with us?
Yes, let me try to show the page. Can you see that?
It's coming.
Can you see it?
Yes, it's coming. Okay, there you are. Yeah, I've got it.
Then this is the page that I enter, and I did the exam without putting my email. Then I put the general information. The email was not required.
Okay.
Then I didn't put it.
Right.
Then this is that I was saying. This is the number one. The choose a bullets, reading and listening, speaking, writing. And here are the tokens. Then I put this one.
That's it.
When I put this, I have this. Let me try to see. No, okay. Then could you see that this screen, that is bullets and tutorial and test?
I think so. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Then I enter to this and I put test. When I enter to this, I put the bullet. Let me put here. I get this one.
That's it. Okay. You got it. Then you will one. Yes, exactly.
Okay, and then I could take a test, and then I have this page. Then I put allow access. I put continue,
Show us.
and then I put all this information with my generals.
Yeah.
And I didn't put, because it's not required with the asterisk, the candidate email. And maybe for this reason I did not receive the results. Maybe.
Okay, now I'm not sure whether we're looking at the same page. It's possible.
It's not the same.
Is this one?
I think share
Is
screen.
this one? This one.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when and where did you put in? Show us again, please, where you put in the token. Go back. Can you go back?
Let me go back.
Yes. Thank you.
Can you see this?
Now I see Ramon's face.
Now,
No.
And Susana.
let me see. Can you see this?
Now I see you.
When I put the token,
Okay, share screen again, please, Arthur. You ended share screen. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So now, no, wait.
then I put this.
No, wait,
Yes.
wait. No, wait. Stop. Okay. Yes, I know. If you're on this page, look what it says at the top. It says demo test. This is the demo test page. Right. Okay, right there. Now, so you have a brief tutorial of 3 minutes. and then you have test. If you look in the gray box, that one, and then the other one, test. Okay, so that's for the demo test. All of that is for the demo test. Now, if you go up a little bit, Arthur, you see under the words demo test, it says, please click on this link to navigate to the candidate test site. That is the site. That's the page that you want to go to for the real thing. Can you click on that just to show?
For the real one, or for practice?
No,
The real one.
No, this is the real one. Okay, now there you go. So now you choose the first gray box at the top is online reading and listening. Yeah, just click on that, please. Click on that. And okay, there's another tutorial. I think it's the same tutorial actually. Now what happens if you click on test? What's going on? Again, please.
Here?
Click on test.
Well, Joel, I have to leave. Susana and Arturo. I got another class. Thank you so much, Joel.
Thank you so much for your time.
I hope you can send us the class about the pronunciation.
Well, yes, of course. I have that document. Of course, I'll share it with you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to practice and I'm going to be in touch by email. So thank you so much, Joel.
Thank you for your time and
Thank you, Ramon. See you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Merry
Susana.
Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Yeah,
Happy
sorry.
holidays.
Yeah, thank you. The
Bye-bye.
same to you. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, Joel, I put here the token number here is.
Oh, I see. The screen is, Arthur, the screen is frozen again, and I don't see all of that. But
Okay, let me try to show you again.
okay.
Okay, is this one?
Yeah, except it won't be Dembule 1. Obviously, that's
Is it the one you give us?
it'll be the one I will give you. It's something like that.
This is the number. This is this one.
No.
Is
No,
it the previous page?
No, Arthur, that is only for
Practice.
the practice test. This is the real one. This page that you're on is the real one. This is for the real test. Okay, so you will not put Dembule 1. You'll put a token, something like 10 or 15, a 10 or 15 character alphanumerical sequence.
Okay.
That's impossible to remember. I'll give you that, and that's what you'll type in there, and then you'll take the test, and that's it.
But this that I put here is for practice. It's not the real one.
That's the wrong
Okay.
page. No, that's not the, no. That's the other page that you're on before. If you were to turn back 2 or 3 pages, you'd be back to
Let me go back.
here. Okay, so there you are. Okay, so if you scroll up a little bit, please.
This one?
Just scroll up a little bit. Yes, okay, down.
Preparation courses?
No, that's something else. Down, please, down, please. Where were we? No, I think you just have to scroll way up. I got confused. Yes. Above the Dembule 1, so yes, above. Okay, right here. So see what it says? Choose, number 1, choose a BULATS online sample test. That's their expression, sample test. And you've got 3 to choose from, and they're very short. Now, I'm hoping that when I see you again, we will be able to do the speaking and writing sample tests in a workshop like this, because they don't have the correction keys or anything really for these 2. So that's where the teacher has to intervene. So we'll do the speaking and the writing sample tests. They're very short, but we'll do them together. They're good practice. And as soon as possible, Arthur, please forget about the practice reading and listening test. Go to the real thing. Incidentally, how was that practice or sample test? Did you find it difficult?
Okay.
Arthur, did you do the sample reading and listening test? Did you do it?
I did one exam, and that takes maybe approximately 1 hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour.
Really? Okay.
Right, and I'm not sure it was a practice or was a real. I totally confused about that because I didn't receive any comments, any result, because at the end, as I mentioned, as I show you my screenshot, there was a statement that says that ask the supervisor and something like that. That's it. Then for that is my confusion. Then you are suggesting me that not try to continue in making reading and listening test for practicing, but the actual.
I think all I'm saying, Arthur, is I think that you're ready to go for the real test. You did the sample reading and listening test, which I didn't know it was that long, but yes, it is longish.
Maybe 45 minutes, right?
45 minutes?
45 minutes as based on the Megan's mail.
Yeah.
45 minutes, right?
Well, okay. The practice or the sample reading and listening test is about half in length. That sounds reasonable. Well,
but in general, do you suggest to do the practice exam for me, for example?
Oh, yes. For the simple reason that you need this to get used to the format. It's more a test of, it's much more a test, or at least as much a test of performance skills as it is of knowledge, because the format is a little bit unusual. You got the timer in the corner up there, and they tend to test certain kinds of vocabularies, and they tend to stick to certain themes. So yes, I do urge you to do this. It's not that long, and you have everything to gain and nothing to lose but 45 minutes of your time by taking it. And I'm sure that as soon as you have taken it, I'm quite certain that after you've taken it, you'll say, I'm not wasting any more time. I'm ready for the real test.
For the actual exam.
Yeah, I can pass the real test. I'm sure that this is what you'll think.
Okay. This is the email that Megan sent on December 13 that says the writing exam will be a total of 45 minutes. The speaking will not exceed 15, and you can take the bullets online as many times as you want. This is my conclusion. When you mention that we can take the bullets now, the real one or the actual one, I can take this as many times as I want.
Yes. Well, in fact, what Megan is referring to in the second point before last is the speaking and writing test. I think that perhaps the order that this was the order that this was presented in might be unfortunate for that reason alone. You see in the third point, she referred to the writing exam. Okay, so the writing exam and the speaking exam, those are separate things. Wait, what am I looking at here? Oh, Arthur, I'm sorry. I wasn't reading this properly. Apologies to Megan, too. I misinterpreted what she wrote.
But she says the bullets online as many times as you want. This is...
Yes.
Okay, well, actually, the issue here is that she doesn't refer to the, excuse me, she doesn't refer to the comprehension exams. I don't know why. But I do have the tokens for those, and I entreat you all to start with that test and to give it a try during this break, during this vacation. Don't lose the opportunity.
Okay.
Don't wait until you're back on the job and busy.
And your suggestion is first reading, listening, then writing, and the last one is speaking, in that order?
Yes, that is the almost, I would say, the canonical order. It's not obligatory, but most teachers who've taught for BULATS and have corrected practice BULATS and who corrected the real BULATS, they say the same thing, that is usually the preferred order. Because, as I said, most people feel more pressure to perform when they have to speak.
Okay.
That's just most people. Now, maybe you're not most people, so maybe it won't be the same. but you're allowed to do it. Doesn't really matter because you're allowed to do it over. But I'm suggesting that you start with the comprehension tests because they're not only Well, they're actually formative. They're not only. Yes?
When you say the comprehension test is this one, reading and listening?
Yes. Reading and
Okay.
listening comprehension. You read and comprehend, you listen and comprehend. Exactly.
Assuming that I'm ready now, assuming that.
Yes.
Assuming for a moment that I'm ready.
Okay.
If I ask you for the token, are you going to provide me the token, and then I'm going to enter to this in the same process that I made minutes ago, and then put the number that you are going to provide me?
That's right.
Okay.
But wait now. It's a different page. Remember, it's a different page.
What is it? Maybe I don't have that page. Maybe that is the problem.
Yes, you do, Arthur, because we were just looking at it together. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. In the letter, when you write to me asking for a token, in the return mail with the token, there will also be a link. There will also be a link to the exact page. There will be no possible mistake.
And if we want to repeat the exam, we will use the same token you gave us?
No, ma'am. No. No, not.
Is that a new one?
It's a different exam. Yes.
Okay.
Different exam, different token. And,
Okay.
Okay, so then this is what I know about the process, and I will confess to you immediately the part that I do not know. I do not know how long it will take for the corrected exams, the results to come back. I know
Okay.
that during the semester when we do this, the comprehension exam results come back within a week, and the writing and speaking exam results come back within 10 days.
Oops.
So because it's human beings must correct. Human correctors must look at your writing exams and listen to your speaking exams. So that takes a little bit longer. So this is another reason I'm telling you, don't waste too much time. Don't waste too much time, because this is a precious opportunity to get through this while you're not busy in the office and with hundreds of students pestering you and so on like that.
Okay, let me try to summarize this. Then for reading and listening, you're going to provide the tokens, and for speaking and for the writing test, Megan is going to provide the tokens.
Joel can give you all of them too.
We have all of them. Either one of us has all of them, or we can. I think yes, we do have all of them, and we have the same documents. She and I have the same documents. So don't think too much for now about the writing and speaking. Go for that. That comprehension test as soon as you feel rested and rehearsed, and you can start working on the rest. And if you are into it, manner of speaking, if you're interested, do today's exercise about writing a 180-word letter of complaint for anything that you have personal experience with. Write that, send it to me, and that will be part of your prep, part of your preparation for the writing test.
Okay, Joel. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thanks to all of you.
I've got to go.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, Susana. Susana, if I have a question, I'm gonna ask you by email. Okay.
Of course. Me too.
Okay. Thank you very much, and have a nice holidays. If we do not speak before, have a nice.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, I hope we do. I hope we will, and I know that you'll spend your time well and rest out. And it's been a long, hard semester, and this is our time, right?
Yeah.
Cool it. Think about something else.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
See you, Arturo. Bye-bye.
Bye.